I just wanted to point out I'm mounting the Hertz tweeters in the original speaker location. Basically, I've matted it out because you can see the frame a little bit underneath when these things are mounted. Yeah, this lip is exposed. Yeah, they don't fit very well. This whole thing, I mean, when I say they don't fit very well, it's just sort of it's the design of those, of that era. This is just sort of a little kludgy, but it fits sort of with imperfect gaps. I have to just accept it. It's the way it was back in the early 80s. So, with these tweeters in, and then I've got to touch up the white on the lettering on the left-hand side unit. And with all this stuff in, I can actually fire up the stereo and listen to it, play with it. Yeah, well, it's carpet time, so dash is in, and stereo's in. Sounds good. Got to calibrate it a bit. I am working on the carpet, so yeah. The only thing that sort of I've only cut the 2 seat mounting posts so far. A little hole for the shifter and the emergency brake, and then I'm underneath here trying to determine how much of the carpet to cut so I can push it forward. It needs to go forward about 1 inch. And the only thing so far that's driving me a little crazy, set the light down here. So if I want to get the carpet right to the edge here, and you know, this whole thing, it's 1 inch short or 2 inches short. This is all the way down. I can go and put some foam and stuff underneath and lift the floor up, if that's what's supposed to be. I can't really remember how much of the original shit I removed to get down to the bare metal. So there's some, I think the carpet wants the floor to be up a little bit, and have to figure that out. Yeah, so it's too bad I don't remember exactly how much of a lip there was, how far down it went, because for me, underneath here, I've just got the bare metal and a little bit of the Acoustimass sound insulation. But I've got jute backing on the carpet, plus rubber. So it's very thick, heavy-duty, luxurious carpet. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to build up the floor. Maybe not at the back. Back seems to be okay. But, oh well, this is part of the game. So I'm going to just chew away on this for a bit. I'm going to profile the front, cut some of the excess carpet off, and get the carpet moved forward, and then decide whether I have to build the floor up or not. Okay, 1 inch of this material, this layered. You can use this stuff to peel back different layers, and you know, for making instrument boxes and things. Anyway, shaped it and dropped her in 1 inch, and now the carpet is looking the part. Yeah, it's sitting better. Sorry, the LED light makes the carpet look weird, but it's a nice dark blue carpet. Anyway, yeah, I know this should be good. Looks like the rear pockets, they're supposed to be the full depth. Carpet certainly, and the mechanism that you know, the sliding racks, they're down low, so there's no way you'd put 1 inch of foam in there. But maybe the same thing on the passenger side. I'm just going to go over there and have a look at that now. Yeah, the passenger side needed the same 1 inch, so yeah, it'll take a little while for me to get this all done, but my confidence factor has gone up. I'm going to use the impact adhesive along the edges to just hold the edges down, and then I'm not going to put adhesive anywhere else, I'm pretty sure. But some trimming to do, already done a bunch of trimming up underneath. And I've got to make little side pieces of carpet as well. Actually, I've got a bunch of things to do. More carpet pieces in the back. And I'm going to have to go to a carpet place and get them to the edges nicely. With the spiral knitting around the edges. And I've got to clearance out the shifter hole and cut these back channels as well. So anyway, chip chip chip, going nicely now though. Yeah, so carpet's in. Just a little bit more about this carpet. So this is from stockinteriors.com, and this is their ultra plush, or their sort of, I guess, their top thicker version with the mass backing, the heavy sort of backing. People complain about it on the internet, saying that it's hard to put in, and it is. It's thicker and it's more rigid and doesn't like to conform as readily. The trade-off is that, you know, you're going to get better sound deadening and a quieter, more solid feeling car, which I always appreciate. It doesn't add too much weight, maybe 10 pounds or something. So bottom line is I got it to work. Sort of a little bit of a struggle, but as you can see, I've got matching mats to go with it. The only place that it didn't fit perfectly well is in these corners here. It needs just a little bit more depth in those corners. Those are the only corners that don't really settle down. I mean, you're not going to really notice it too much, being in the back and all. Fronts with that 1-inch piece of foam works perfectly. Then what I did is, for the little kick panels on the sides, I don't know if you can see over there, but I used vinyl rather than the carpet. It's a little cleaner looking from my perspective, matches the doors, and you know, the factory uses little bits of vinyl in the back corners there, so I thought I would replicate it in the front. We'll see. I can always change it out later. Haven't finished putting the console in yet. I'm going to put the rear seats in now, and then I'll finish putting the trim around the door edges, and then the console, and then the front seats. I think that's the order it's going to go in. Yeah, well, they're in there now. So, I'll get the light. And they feel really nice. They got sort of a stiffer foam, and yeah, no, they're nice. So I'm gonna get the console in next. It's an exciting part, eh? Hey, so took a picture of this before I put the last seat in. Give you an idea. So almost too nice. Really, it's really. Sorry, that's the old steering wheel. I haven't put the nice new leather wrapped one in, but. Yeah, it's actually a deep blue on the carpet. It doesn't look like it, but everything is quite a deep color. But I'm sure when I get it into the sunlight, the camera will have an easier job of basically recording the right colors. But yeah, it's the real deal. So I'm licensed temporarily to take it to the inspection shop tomorrow. So hopefully I can get all this finished tonight. Get it scaled and get some prep, what I call seafoam, into the cylinder heads tonight, let them leak down around the rings, and then I can hopefully fire it up in the morning and drive it. Yep, both seats are in, so we're ready to scale it and put the correct wheel in, and a few other little things like that. Here she be. So I'm pretty close to turning the key. I put some seafoam in the cylinders, and tomorrow should be good to start it. So yeah, I've left the GTI logo off the steering wheel. I put the nice leather wheel on, leather wrapped wheel. That I made, but I left the center off because we're going to do an alignment to the shop and fiddle with it a little bit. I don't want to be wrenching that center plastic on and off too much. Yeah, it's doors closed nicely. Like that. The seals have settled in now. So I've got with a 180-pound person sitting in the driver's seat. I've got 3/4 of an inch at the front and about 5/8 in the rear on this side, and then about a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch more on the other side because there's a slight weight differential. When there's no one in the car, it's about an inch in the front and an inch in the rear on both ends. So we're just a tiny bit less in the rear. I may, depending on how things go, move the rear up a 1/2 inch because the springs in the back are so much softer. If you get a bunch of weight in the car, it will start sort of being sagging in the tail, which I don't like, but don't want it to rake too much, but I like to have it set flat. So yeah, it's looking the part. It's looking, let me zoom out a bit. It's hopefully ready to roll. So got to put the windshield wipers on, but I'm still fiddling with them, painting them over and over again, sanding them until I like them. And I've just had a paint reaction where I put one paint on top of another and they wrinkled, so they're not ready to put on. Anyway, I'm happy, got the interior all done. And yeah, I'd like to get this thing certified for the road now. Oh, I scaled it. So it's left front 630, right front 660, and the rears are about 330. That's with a full tank of fuel, air conditioning system, stereo, subwoofer, full interior, the whole 9 yards. So car is in the 1,900-pound range, and if I take some of the goodies out of it, that you know, a couple wrench twists, and I can pull the AC component, electric AC out, and the sub out, that kind of stuff, and be down in the 1850, 1840 range. But fully equipped, no compromise car. You know, it's light, it's good. I'm happy. Well, the big day arrived, and it's been pouring rain all day. So I'm steadfastly refusing to do my inaugural drive in shitty weather. So I'm waiting it out, hoping this will pass. And actually I'm seeing the very first patches of clear sky all day, so I'll wait an hour here and see if I can do this. Okay, so I've got my camera set up in the car here. I'm going to fire up the engine for the first time in a year and go for a drive, hopefully. So I'm just turning on the power, waiting for things to come to life. And there's my gauges. I got a couple nice different gauges. And I'm going to put the kill switch on first. And I'm just going to prime the oil pressure before I actually fire it. It's interesting, I'm getting a computer reset when I try to start, but I'll try to start now and see what happens anyway. So it's just the display that's crapping out. So we're up and running. I will put it in first gear and pull out once I take the brake off. There we are, out of the garage. Oops, it's stalled. Let me just close the garage door here. Come on, close. Fire it up again. Here we are going down the lane. Feel good. Something smells burning. May have to go out and check and see what that smell is. Just pop the hood and make sure that everything is good, and we'll resume the video. It's just that new car smell, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to do a bit of brake testing to make sure that the brakes are functioning before I go out on a major street. Oh, my backup camera works. That's nice. Onto a major street for the first time. It's just that new car smell, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to do a bit of brake testing to make sure that the brakes are functioning before I go out on a major street. Oh, my backup camera works. That's nice. apologize. These are concrete expansion joints. Brakes still looking good. Looks good. All right. You gotta take it easy. Oh, this is gonna be a ton of fun. Okay guys, so this is my dad. There would be no GTI in my life back in 1983 without this guy. Right? Yeah. And my original GTI was parked right here in front of my parents' house. Same house. Yeah. Same house. Yeah. And here we are. We just went for a drive in it. And we've christened it. We gave her shit. Yeah. We programmed it.
And so, it ran beautifully.
So there it is. Oh. So yeah, no, the color didn't look good in the garage because of the lights at night.
Suppose, yeah.
So now we get a chance to actually see what it looks like when, and it's not raining. But guess what? I had to drive this car in the rain. I had to use the windshield wipers, and it's got mud on it. So this thing is, it's christened. So, but we have lots of programming to do on that computer. It goes like stink, though, eh?
Oh, I'm sure it's turning some pretty
big numbers.
Close to 5 or 6 seconds.
0 to 60, maybe. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So there we go. That's my dad. He's my buddy. There she is after several hours of driving. So quick summary, for whatever reason at about 6,000 RPM, the fuel cuts off. It kind of goes crazy. It says stall, no RPM. So I've got to get the data logger running. I was fiddling with it. I couldn't get the ECU data logger to trigger correctly. I finally did get one trace just now, so I'm going to go in and have a look at it and see what I can find out. Could be a number of different factors, but the engine's like completely normal, super strong. Starts coming onto the cam around 5,500 RPM, and then moments later, bang, it's dead as a doornail. I got stranded out on the highway earlier, as I told you, because I was getting a loose wheel, and it turned out these chromed lugs, because I've got spacers, so the chromed lugs that are longer, the only ones I could find, are slippery, so I have to tighten them a lot more. Maybe I should get rid of them. I've got on steering feel, the car turns easier to the left than to the right for some reason, and that may be because I don't have it properly lined. I'm not sure what's going on there, but I'm going to have it shopped tomorrow and see what these guys think. Very, very tough steering this thing with the close ratio rack, manual rack, when you're not moving or, you know, barely moving. It takes a lot of effort, obviously. But once you're underway, it's good. Engine's nicely responsive, but not ridiculously so at low RPM. So you can, with a bit of practice, you can be pretty smooth with it. If you're not careful, it can be herky-jerky. But I'm already getting the hang of it, I think. So not a bad start to the day. I'm going to put it up on the lift in the morning and go through all the nuts and bolts. Had a little fuel leak tonight. I filled the whole tank full, basically 40 liters, you know, topped up. Put a bunch of pressure on the, sender seal under the rear seat, and it started leaking from there. So took it all apart, pulled the seat out, and put better sealant. Have some automotive or some fuel sealant that I've gooped the area with. and maybe I should avoid completely topping off the tank in the future. So lesson learned there. But I'm going to just tighten up all the nuts and bolts and fuel fittings and go over the car, double check. Brakes are not great right now. I can't barely get it to lock up. I don't have the proportion valve for the rear set up correctly, but I don't think that's it. Something in the braking system is just not right. So pedal's a bit mushy. That could be, you know, a good flushing, professionally done, might do the trick. Again, we can address that maybe tomorrow. So starting to work out some of the gremlins, which you would expect from a 3.5-year project like this. And anyway, successful day in terms of putting lots of miles on this thing and wringing it out. No, one last thing, I'm getting, when the thing's lugging or when it's just sort of idling along, I get a little bit of transmission noise, kind of like almost like a little bit of a soft whine or a soft grind when the thing's just sort of, when I'm not accelerating or braking, it's just sort of idling along. It's got a little bit of a sort of a differential sound to it. That may be the Quaife limited slip differential. That may just be something I gotta get used to. So anyway, happy.